Jai Shri Krishna to all and welcome to Path to Anandam Gita series, Freedom from Pains and Miseries. I'm Satya Kalra, your host and founder of Path to Anandam with Swami Hariharji Maharaj's blessings. Thank you very much for joining and getting the blessing first thing in the morning from Hariharji Maharaj, Swamiji. With his blessings, we are going to discuss his teachings, Bhagavad Gita's teachings, and his teachings in the form of a very simplified way. He always taught us in such a simple way to understand and practice. So focus of the session is to practice the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, and that's what I have been guided, blessed, and with his blessings, the session is based on my question and God's answers, and also 108 mantras to awaken your soul, another first bestseller on the Amazon. So again, close to Guru Purnima, pranams to Swamiji. Today, the morning of Sunday, July 17th, we are blessed. From 108 mantras in Bhagavad Gita, we will be sharing Gita verses. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Gita verses, chapter 3, 17, 18, and 19. Continuation of our Karma Yoga. Today we will be discussing what is the bondage of karmas. What are karmas? What is the bondage we are talking about? And what are the causes of our karmas, our current life, which is also known as prarabdha? And what can we do? What would be our action to go beyond it and get to the stage where there are no more duties remain for us, no more do's and don'ts, what to do, what not to do, no more confusion, no more pap and punya, no more causes, what is a cause and effect, action and reaction, and freedom from all. And of course, at the end, we will have a tip of the day, meditation, and question and answer session. So let's start with the prayers, which we have taken the Sankalpa to, that I am Arjuna, and I pray to Lord Krishna for all of the guidance with humbly by surrendering to him. Karpanye dosho pahat swabhava paschami tvam dharma samura cheta yachresyani nishchitam bhumitan me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanyam shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanyam Shishyaste Shadimam Tvam Prapanyam, which is basically in Hindi says, अब सौंप दिया इस जीवन का सब भार तुम्हारे हाथों में. My reins of my life are in your hands. I'm asking humbly for your advice, and bless me so I can listen to you, follow your advice, and act upon it. And I should say, like Arjuna, I will do as you advise. Karishe vachanam tav. So let's all start this blissful journey for self-purification, self-transformation, and uplift our consciousness and experience that who I am, Sat Chit Ananda. So with that prayers, Lord Krishna advises Arjuna. Here Arjuna became the student and Lord Krishna became the teacher, not the God yet, still the teacher, Acharya, a guide, Guru, the Jagat Guru. And he taught him the Bhagavad Gita, which is a step-by-step spiritual instruction manual to operate our life righteously. It teaches us how to choose our righteous path. Here we are speaking about Karma Yoga because that's what he said. Karma Yoga is the beginning to any other path. By learning how to convert every activity into dharma, how to follow the righteous action, righteous path, and experience eternal happiness, peace, anandam, while living in this world and beyond. This is where Swami Hariharji Maharaj said. And with Arjuna's humble request and Lord Krishna's advice, Lord Krishna suggested Arjuna asked for two paths. Which one is better? Because Lord Krishna suggested him in Sankhya Yoga chapter 2 to follow the Gyan Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, and also the righteous path. And here Arjuna is confused. So Lord Krishna is taking each layer of his confusion here in the where we can analyze, where the metaphor is here, onion, one layer at a time, and getting to the essence of the who we are, how to reach there, how to do the righteous action through these 7 steps to ultimately realize who we are, union with self-realization, God realization, self-realization through different paths, whatever it suits everybody. Maybe the path of going from tamasic, rajasic to sattvic and becoming gunatit. Gunatit means going beyond limitations, means I have merged to the higher self. And then by the path of Karma Yoga, where Jeev Atma, by following the Karma Yoga, becomes the Dharmatma and Mahatma, and then Punya Atma, and then meets with Paramatma. In other words, our body, mind, and soul all merge together and become one. And ultimately get out of the prasad out of the vishad and attain the prasad, everlasting prasad, ultimate happiness, anandam. So why and how Karma Yoga? This is a summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita. What is the purpose of Karma Yoga? What is the process and benefits of selfless service? Karma Yoga. Because Karma Yoga is the foundation and the first step, I said the first step to self-realization or God realization. And here are the processes and benefits. Through our self-purification. And what self-purification means? Removing our limitations, which is 5 plus 2 enemies: Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, jealousy and resentment, desires, greed, attachment, ego. So by removing this, we become self-purified. Then we qualified for self-transformation. Then once the clouds are gone of these 5 plus 2 enemies, then the golden lights of sun from the supreme power, the wisdom comes to us, and we attain, we realize who we are. We are Satchit Ananda. And here, Karma Yoga and Seva, Swami Chidanandji from Parmarth Niketan Ashram. If you just look at his, Google him, look at his YouTube videos. He is the true Karma Yogi. We have the politicians, and right now we are fortunate to have some politicians in India also, which are truly Karma Yogis. But becoming truly Karma Yogi does not mean that one has to just sit and meditate. It could be in any form. Seva, whether you are gardening, whether you are donating, whether you are sharing, whatever the form is, whatever fits in your personality, as long as we do it with heart and from soul for the benefit of others, that is Karma Yoga. You know, one of the questions came to me that we are talking about karma. And here, this cycle of karmas and from Sanchit karmas and all that, and they asked me to little bit expand on it and explain it. So before I start further, I want to little bit take few minutes to explain this. Our life is the byproduct of this web of karmas, which we have created like a spider. And now we are trying to break it. What happens to a spider? Just creates the web around it and finally hangs himself, dies and hangs himself in the web of karma. We as a human being do the same thing, but we are so fortunate. We have a capabilities to break it. And how we can break this web of karmas. So try to understand how many types of karmas are and what is the cycle of karmas. So then we can focus on breaking it and going beyond it. So there are 4 types of karmas. Some people think there are 3 types because they kind of ignore one of the karmas. They just think it our daily activities. But we are today what we are, who we are, what we are, situations we are in, whether we are enjoying our life or feeling the blessed or feeling disheartened. This is all based on our prabdha karma. This prabdha karma is a part of Sanchit karma. Sanchit karma is basically this web what we have created around us. So this is like a saving account. And all these Sanchit karma are in our saving account. Some of the karmas are taken out, like some of the money we take it out to run our daily life needs. Here, God sends us to the world based on our karmas, based on our Sanchit karmas, and he designs our life and gives us this, takes part of the Sanchit karma and brings us this based on the prarabdha karma. we are right now in that situation. So we are all blessed with some of our sanchit karmas, our good karmas. That's why we are sitting and speaking about Bhagavad Gita, learning about Bhagavad Gita, practicing, because many of you are sitting here, they're more knowledgeable and practicing higher than me here. But Swami Hariharji Maharaj guided me to give these sessions. So thank you, Guruji, for choosing me. Lord Krishna, thank you very much for choosing me. So this, based on these prabdha karmas, we decide what to do, what not to do right now. They call agami karmas. For example, if somebody hits somebody or slap somebody on the face, किसी को थप्पड़ मार दिया, what do they get? They will, most likely they will get the thappad back, the slap back on their face. That is agami karma. But prabdha karma is like out of this sanchit karma. So some of the, I can give you an analogy here. When we put some seed in the ground, some karmas give the results immediately. Like if you plant the strawberries, you will get it in the same season. If you plant mango tree, it will take several years. So depending on it, based on the karmas, when they are ready, and Lord Krishna gives us a syllabus. He prepares the syllabus based on our sanchit karmas. How we can improve our life, because purpose of our life, and God help us to reach to the ultimate purpose of our life, who we are, experience Satchitananda. So he prepared the syllabus that whatever the improvement we want to do, and then one by one, he guide us and bring those situations in front of us. And that is called krimana karma, means whatever karma we do every day. So this is a cycle of karmas. And here you can see, based on the karmas, here the person, here he could just practice meditation, practice karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, and go to the higher level, experience, get moksha. And here, if he's just leading the life, whatever comes, doesn't pay attention to his life, and just do all kind of karmas, then he continue to go through this birth and death. So here you can see the sanchit karma, prabdha karmas again. Here are the agami karmas, and how one is trying to correct his cycle of karmas, and they are eventually going to go to higher state. One of the other point came, which Swami Shivananda puts it in such a nice way about prabdha karma, which I explained it here this time, that from sanchit karma, we get the prabdha karma, which is our current situation. But one of the thing here comes a question, another one. Prabdha karma creates circumstances which we are destined to experience. In other words, these karmas is a cause and effect. It cannot be exhausted. We might get some discount from God by praying, but actually the only way to exhaust is to go through it. Pay our debts. I call those our debts, so pay our debts. So they always play certain role. Limitations via our physical limitations, current situations, like somebody might have a difficult situation in the family, or limitations to the body, certain circumstances, some certain diseases with a challenging situation, physical limitations. And actually that is also given in the horoscopes of people on birth chart. So collectively, we call it our kismat, destiny. But this is all based on our karmas, the cycle of karmas. So question again, how to get freedom from bondage of karmas and benefits of karma yoga. Last week we spoke about evam pravartitam chakram nanu vartitiya agyaru indriya ramu mogham parsa jivati. The person who does not contribute to this wheel of creation lives in vain, leads a useless life. However, the people who contributes through selfless service, through many other means, whether it's a charity, whether it's a volunteer work, whether it's karma yoga, bhakti yoga, whatever it is, they develop the contentment. They are fully self-satisfied because they are in Rakti. They live in God's consciousness, supreme power's consciousness. And they are so content. For them, there is no remaining work. Karyana vidyate. There is no karya remaining for them. There is no karma yoga. There is nothing, because whatever they do, it is happening for them. They are not doing. They are beyond the doing. Anything we do, it's a karma yoga or karma. But when it automatically comes, like things we do, mantras, whatever, we are on autopilot. But if we are on the path of living in the self-consciousness, then there is no duty remain for them. They are free from all the obligations of the duty. Analogy I can give you, like during the COVID time, log out time, or log in time, log out time, whatever you want to call it. But basically it was a time to stay home. Many people went into depression because they felt lonely, akelapan. But at the same time, many people took the advantage of that time. That was the best time they considered, because it gave them a time for more tapasya, more mantras, more spiritual practices. So they made a best use of that time. And living in the self-consciousness, they reached to next level, higher level. And here are the good examples. Like it says, such a self-realized person has no interest whatsoever is gaining or not gaining from his action. Nor does it depends upon any other living being. He's connected with God. For him, he depends on God only. So here are the example. Let's take Guru Nanak Ji. He was just going around and spreading the word of seva, bhakti. Ekam, we are all one. Ek Omkar. Swami Ramnam Maharishi. He did not go around. He was in his ashram, but he was such a big magnet. People used to go and learn from him and wanted to go to higher level in their life. Here, Aurobindo Ji from Pondicherry, he went even one more further step. He went into totally solitude. He went into one home, which is an ashram in Pondicherry. He stayed there for 10 years, did not get out of the ashram. Not only that, he stayed in one of the rooms where he was totally in solitude, in meditation, in samadhi. But his ashram was full of his followers, his devotees, the people who wanted to learn from him. So all these people like Guru Nanak Ji, Ramana Rishi Ji, Maharishi Ji, and Aurobindo, there was no extra work for them. It became very natural for them. They were living in that consciousness. So work is not burden for them. It was not a burden for Guru Nanak Ji to go around, not a burden for Ramana Ji, Ramana Maharishi Ji or Aurobindo to staying in the samadhi and working around the ashrams. So simply do the work with love and compassion and devotion, then love does not become burden for us. And that's where Lord Krishna says, Tasmad asakta asatatam karyam karma samachar asakto hi acharan karma praptoti purusha. Karma parma apnoti. Parma apnoti means you get to the higher level, means one attains the highest perfection, supreme being, by doing work without attachment. Therefore, always perform your duty efficiently without any selfish attachment to the results. Here comes Lord Krishna in chapter 2, guides Arjuna in verse 247. Karmanya vadika raste, ma phaleshu kadachan, ma karma phal hetu bhurma, te sango ast karmani. Means don't be lazy. Here is a very big distinction. Let's go back to the previous slide. Here it says, Karena vidyate. There is no work for them, remaining no work, but not a karmani, not laziness. Because some people might just sit, like in COVID time, they would just sit, get depressed, and as soon as the government give the permission to buy alcohol, first thing they did, they run to the liquor shops, and even they had to pay 5,000 rupees. They wanted to get out of depression through by having the alcohol. Here, we are speaking about the spiritual practices. Lord Krishna is telling him not to be lazy. That is a laziness. Not doing, that's a tamasic nature. And sometimes people, when they just get into the spiritual practices, studying Gita, and all of a sudden they say, now they don't want to do any work because they are fully want to devote their time toward spiritual practices, which is good. If one can do it, by all means, one should do it. But it has to be without attachment, without ego. And at the same time, one must be careful that it's not a laziness, which is a tamasic nature, but they are truly involved with the spiritual practices without attachment, without ego, without bragging. That's where it says the attitude. What Lord Krishna is summarizing it here, and he says, attitude, work for welfare of all. Sarva bhutite rata. Whatever we do, sometimes the question comes, if we just sit and do the spiritual practices and meditation, isn't that a selfishness? It could be. One has to judge on that part, as long as they are without attachment, without I-ness, without expecting any name and fame, without expecting any titles, and doing truly the karma yoga. And what it means is sometimes people donate money, do the charities, but what do? They want to have their names in the newspapers, when they names on the buildings, what they donate, or the names on the rooms, or even sometimes you go in the ashrams and there are names written on the fan or the steps that who have donated this part. So not looking for name and fame. Or so by doing the selfless service, without attachment, without name and fame, without I-ness and minus. One develops the contentment within, which we just saw it in the previous verse. Develop the self-satisfaction. And once they are self-satisfied, then they like to help others. They see God in everywhere. They see the spirituality everywhere. And then this is how they become purified. And once they are purified, they are totally connected with supreme power, with many spiritual leaders, saints, and they get the freedom from their prescribed duty. For them, there is no more pap and punya. For Guru Nanak Ji, there was no pap and punya left. There was no cause and effect. He was not reacting to any situations. We have many examples when somebody abused him, somebody asked him to do differently, like he went to Makkah, Medina, and they asked him not to put the feet toward the Makkah, Medina center. And he asked them, he turned around and he asked them, tell me which side I put it. Everywhere is a Makkah, Medina. And he showed them. They all saw the Makkah, Medina in every direction. This is the power of connecting with our higher self. And this is the example of many saints. So one gets out of there are no more sanchit karma left for them. There are no prarabdha karmas for them, and they are beyond birth and death because they have reached to highest perfection. So they are free from all. And that is what our goal is here, to become the free from all. But we have to do some work here. We have to live in a self-awareness. Ask the question. In Gita says, Swadhyaya Abhyasnam. We must do our self-inquiry. That what we think, how we work, what do I think, how do I think, how do I work? Do I work selflessly, or do I work for the name and fame? I-ness, minus, am I slave of my ego? What do I eat? How I eat? How do I sleep? How do I talk? How do I contribute? And then I left it. You can fill it up. This is a homework. So you can fill it up yourself. How do I what? I have many whats and ifs. And so that's why I just left it for you. But the self-inquiry, down of the witness and the end of the suffering. This is what Yogini Ji said. She's a very good spiritual saint. And Ma Kali's devotee, Ma Durga's devotee. She's basically, that's why her name is Yogini, because she's mother goddess devotee. Very nice person. I met her many times. And so self-inquiry is the only path for self-improvement. This is all the ways to self-improve and reach higher self. Means become gunatit, go beyond our limitations and experience who we are, ultimately our true nature, that we are Satchit Ananda. We are the spiritual being experiencing the human being behavior. So we have to practice more and more to totally live in our spiritual being. So action for us. Do all of your action to God. Offer all of your action to God as prasad. And Lord Krishna guides us. In chapter 9, verse 27. Yat karoshi yad asnasi, yat hosi dadasi yat, yat tapasvi konte, tat kurushma darpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer as an oblation to the sacred fire, yajnas, Our life is yajnas. And our third chakra is a symbol of, is the element, has fire element. That is the place where anything, any ego comes, you can just simply throw all of your discontentments, your worldly desires into that third chakra, where that is, the desires come from third chakra, is the Rasic nature of the chakras. And there is a Agni Kund. You create a Agni, visualize Agni Kund, and throw every desire, swaha, 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 and offer to Lord. I'm offering to you, I'm offering to you. This is such a beautiful practice. We will practice sometime, some other time. But I just wanted to share with you what really helps. And then do your best and let go. Here you live in the consciousness of God. Like Hare Rama, Hare Krishna's people, all they live in that consciousness. That's what Prabhudananji guided them all the time. Recite the mantra, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Just live in the consciousness and do everything for sake of God. And then do your best and let go. Sarva dharma paritajye mamekam sharanam braj. Aham tvam sarpapebhyo mokshashyami mash. Abandon all of our attachment and duties. Totally surrender to Supreme Power, Lord Krishna, God. I will liberate you from all sins. Do not worry. So when we work like that, we are free from all the duties because we are not doing anything for ourselves. And how we do it, as Swami, as Satya Sai Baba said, love all, serve all. Help ever, hurt never. Whatever you do, work with love and compassion and help ever. Never hurt, never think about hurting anybody through your thoughts. Of course, not in action. We are at the level, we don't hurt anybody with action. But sometimes we think, or maybe with action, maybe we might say certain words which we might not consider that it is hurting other person, but it might. So we have to be very careful about our thoughts, our speech, and our action. And this is how we practice it. This is a daily spiritual planner to come to the more spiritual practices, to reach to the equanimity, which is just a one step before experiencing your true being. So in the morning, first thing in the morning, whatever we do, our day is determined with that. So I always recommend to do Om mantra or some mantra, or thank God for waking us up, letting us breathe, walk, think, see, or whatever number of mantras before starting your day. I always try to say, read one message from Bhagavad Gita or any person's autography or bibliography or anything, whatever motivates you or brings your mind to more collective level. But I hear also, and then of course do yoga, pranayam, meditation, and follow Bhagavad Gita's teachings, what we learn whole week. This is for 30 days planner, because once you start practicing, that becomes our habit, our destiny. So live in the divine consciousness, and whatever we do, just let go, just offer to the Supreme Power. And then during the day, we practice that teaching, what we learn, commit to which I give like homework. So whatever we need to do, we should practice it. In the evening, we should evaluate and ask the question, how did I do it? But do not pound yourself for falling down, maybe one step down. Here we go 2 steps forward, maybe 1 step backward. It's the other way around. In worldly things, 1 step forward, 2 steps backward. Here we go 2 steps forward and maybe 1 step backward. So continue to encourage yourself, and then end of the day, evaluate and meditate for a few minutes, and then surrender to God. Before going to bed, just Sarva dharma paritajye mamekam sharanam. But just that with those prayers, close your eyes, go to your mantra and just see the impact. How fast your self-salvation growth, self-purification, because whole part we are talking about self-purifying ourselves from these 5+2 enemies, our limitations, I-ness and minus. With that, those practices, you will have a jump start, or not jump start, but moving forward very fast. So our sankalpa, every week we take a one sankalpa. Today is the sankalpa 17, it's the series 17. And here is, I am Karma Yogi. I do selfless service. I practice the teachings of Lord Krishna's Bhagavad Gita's teachings, and obtained healthy, happy, and peaceful life by doing the selfless service with love and compassion. And I always help and serve others. And experiencing Anandam is not an activity. As I said, it's not a doing, it's a being, it's a living. So that is our lifestyle. So we should always take this sankalpa and practice this weekly basis. And I hope all those 16 sankalpas which we have taken, they have taken us to next level. And now today is the sankalpa that I am Karma Yogi. With that sankalpa bhavan, karyasya tattva, sarvanasheshta, means we will reach there by man sev indriya gramam, vinyas samantata. One gradually attains peace and tranquility of mind by totally abandoning all selfish desires, completely controlling all the senses and mind by intellect, keeping the mind fully engaged in the God's consciousness and thinking of nothing else. I am Karma Yogi. I am connected with Supreme Power. So thank you very much for becoming a Karma Yogi and freeing yourself from bondage of karmas, experiencing happy, healthy, and peaceful life, and ultimately your true being, Sat Chit Anand.